My name is Emma, and 5 years ago, my husband walked away from our marriage for a woman with more money than he could ever imagine. At the time, Daniel and I had been married for 8 years. We weren't rich, but we had a good life. We owned a small house, drove an old car, and spent most weekends dreaming about the future we wanted to build together. I truly believed we were happy. Then one Friday evening, Daniel came home looking different. He barely looked at me. He sat down at the kitchen table and stared at the floor. I immediately knew something was wrong. After several minutes of silence, he finally spoke. "Emma, I don't love you anymore." My heart stopped. I thought he was joking, but he wasn't. A few minutes later, he admitted there was another woman. Her name was Sophia. She was wealthy, successful, and owned several businesses. She lived in a luxury home, drove expensive cars, and had everything Daniel thought he wanted. For months, he had been secretly seeing her behind my back. I couldn't believe it. 8 years together, destroyed in a single conversation. 2 weeks later, Daniel moved out. A month after that, our divorce was finalized. The day we signed the papers, Daniel looked at me and said something I will never forget. "I want more from life." Those words haunted me. For months, I blamed myself. I wondered what I had done wrong, why I wasn't enough, why he chose someone else. Every night, I cried myself to sleep. Every morning, I forced myself out of bed. The pain felt endless. One afternoon, my best friend Olivia came to visit. She listened patiently as I poured my heart out. When I finally stopped talking, she looked directly at me. "Stop asking why he left. Start asking why you're still letting him control your future." That sentence changed everything. For the first time, I realized I was giving Daniel power over a life he was no longer part of. That night, I made a decision. I was done feeling sorry for myself. I enrolled in business courses, started learning new skills, worked late into the night, and slowly began rebuilding my confidence. The first year was hard. The second year was better. By the third year, I had started my own marketing company. Clients began arriving. Revenue grew. And for the first time in years, I felt excited about my future. My business expanded faster than I ever imagined. I hired employees, opened a small office, and eventually bought a beautiful home. The funny thing was, the life Daniel left me for was the life I ended up creating on my own. 5 years passed. I barely thought about him anymore. Then one day, I attended a business conference in Chicago. The event was packed with entrepreneurs from across the country. I was preparing for a presentation when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Emma?" I turned around, and there he was, Daniel. At first, I barely recognized him. He looked older, tired, defeated. Gone was the confident man who walked out of our marriage. Now we looked like someone carrying years of regret. He smiled awkwardly. "You look amazing." I thanked him politely, then tried to leave. But he stopped me. "Can we talk?" Curiosity got the better of me, so I agreed. We sat down in a quiet corner of the hotel. For nearly an hour, Daniel told me everything. His relationship with Sophia had fallen apart. The business has struggled. The luxury lifestyle wasn't what he expected. And eventually, she left him. He admitted he had spent years regretting his decision. Years wondering what his life would have looked like if he had stayed. Then he looked directly at me. His eyes filled with emotion, and he said the words I never expected to hear. "Leaving you was the biggest mistake of my life." 5 years earlier, those words would have meant everything. Now they meant nothing, because I wasn't the same woman anymore. Daniel apologized for the lies, for the betrayal, for taking me for granted. Then came the moment I knew was coming. I want another chance. I stared at him quietly, not angry, not bitter, just calm. Then I smiled. "The woman you left doesn't exist anymore." He looked confused. So I explained. "The woman you left behind was insecure. She needed your approval. She believed her happiness depended on you." I paused, then continued. "But the woman sitting here today built a life she loves without you." Daniel lowered his head. For the first time, he truly understood. He wasn't asking for another chance with the same person. That person was gone. His choices had changed both of us forever. I stood up from the table, wished him well, and started walking away. Before I left, he called my name one last time. I turned around. He asked, "Do you ever miss us?" I thought about it for a moment, then answered honestly, I miss who I thought you were. And with that, I walked away. For good. As I stepped outside the hotel, the sun was setting over the city. For years, I thought losing Daniel was the worst thing that ever happened to me. But looking back, it was actually the beginning of my best chapter. Because sometimes people leave your life not to break you, but to make room for something better. And sometimes the greatest revenge isn't getting even. It's becoming so happy that their absence no longer matters. And that day, as I walked toward my future, I realized something important. Daniel didn't leave me with nothing. He left me with a lesson. Never let someone else decide your worth. Because the right person won't leave when life gets difficult. The right person stays. The right person chooses you. Every single day,